Hey, welcome back to my PodTalk, Voice Inside You and in Life. I'm Ashwini J from Bengaluru. So today's episode tritely goes to the core of what truly sustains thriving organization. So it's not just about strategy or system, but how people feel every single day at work. So employee engagement or experience aren't just HR metrics and HR terms. So that's directly impact on business outcomes. So that's also the core responsibility of business leader too. In the latest Gallup survey highlights that only 21% of the employees being engaged, and that's down from 23% of the last year report. So which means that's costing nearly $438 billion in productivity. Let me reveal you another point here. Only 27% of the managers truly engage at work. What about the rest? So if managers' engagement drops, so does the teams. So this episode is on engagement and experience that drives success. And what we unpack from this episode. Point number one, why engagement is a business driver and not just an HR metric. Point number two, few real examples and initiatives that energizes employee net promoter score and employee retention and mobility. Third point, the biggest blind spot in the most engagement strategies and how to fix it. Fourth point, what Gen Z really wants at work and how to keep them engaged authentically. Last but not least, boreout versus burnout and what organization must do to prevent that silent disengagement. So join us as we dive into this conversation with my special guest of today's episode, Mr. Santosh Kumar R. I'm thrilled to welcome my today's special guest, Mr. Santosh Kumar R, who is a seasoned HR professional with more than 25 plus years of experience and a dynamic leader too. So, whose strategic initiatives have transformed multiple organizations across the healthcare, IT, and tech sectors. From revamping HR systems, leading automations, to successfully hiring of 7,000 plus professionals. And he has worked with some of the renowned organizations like Sodexo, M Model, Logix Health, and Calpian and Starmark. He's currently associated with one of the renowned IT firm as AVP HR, and he has been at the forefront of driving talent excellence. His contributions in change management, mergers, and in the large scale restructuring has set industry benchmarks. With a proven track record of employee engagement, leadership development, branding, and PMS implementation, has brought him a remarkable journey and also recognized him as one of the top 20 transformative leaders at L&D Summit 2023. Also, Mr. Santosh brings a blend of dynamic skills. I would like to talk about some of out of work what Santosh is. He is a passionate fitness enthusiast and an avid writer, a cricket lover. He writes quotes, he writes book. Amazing, right? So I think he believes that just like a running, HR leadership requires that rhythm, endurance, and purpose. Also, I would want to say one more thing about him is that he's affable, empathetic, and insightful leader. He mentors many youngsters as well today. So let's welcome him on my PodTalk. Hey, Santosh.
Yeah, thank you very much, Ashwini, for being me here. And one thing I want to say is that, and my introduction was so detailed. I think you have covered almost everything. One thing more I want to add, being a fitness enthusiast, that helps you to bring in that freshness in your work. So that gives you that clarity what is required, and also the energy what is required to be driven by HR, because HR need to be energetic, and we are the first person to take some initiatives. So you should have the energy every day. So that is something which I have adapted maybe about 25 years. So still on, so continuing with those things.
Amazing.
Thank you. Thank you very much
I
for that.
really see that energy in you. I think now I get that. Where do you get that energy from? So Lovely. I think I'm so happy having you here on my pod talk, Santosh. Thank you so much for accepting my invite. I think we know today's our discussion point is more about on engagement and experience that drive success. So, striking off the conversation from there, why is that employee engagement is so critical to shape a strong organization culture? Maybe if you could help me with some of the real examples or maybe some initiatives that through your journey, Santosh, we can touch upon.
Surely, that's a good question to begin with, Ashwini. See, organization culture is everything for an organization. It is a shared values, beliefs, behaviors, and the practices that gives a unique personality for an organization. It's a personality of an organization. It is how the employee interact, how the decisions are made, and how they approach the real work. So it is essentially how things are done, and also it significantly impact how the engagement is and also the productivity and finally the overall success. And also one thing to add is that employee engagement is at the core because it's a
Hmm.
heartbeat of the organization culture.
Right.
When employees feel truly engaged, so they are not just working for the company, they work with the company with the shared vision, values, and the goals. So that is why it really matters. So the employee engagement is core, which contributes to the building the organization culture. And one thing more critical here is it drives alignment ownership because employees
Hmm.
feel involved, aligned to the goals, and also they feel they are accountable for what they do. So they jointly share the responsibility of building the culture. And other important point to highlight is that it boosts retention and loyalty. See, one thing which I want to quote here is that loyalty can't be bought. It can be only be sought because how the organization, the culture that drives the employee retention as well. So that boosts the loyalty aspect of. And then third thing would be the innovation and the collaboration part because if you feel that there is space to innovate, so your ideas can be shared, it is acceptable and that can be practiced and experimented, then employees will come forward, they will share the ideas and thoughts, and that way collaboration happens. End of the day, collaboration helps to innovate and finally to succeed. And also other important point is building resilience and trust. Trust is an important factor, so trust need to be built, and culture helps us in building the trust, and also that brings in clarity for the employees to work and perform. So many things over the last 25 years. You mentioned that I have more than 2 decades of experience. For I was fortunate enough to work in early stages in my career with companies who had given me that space to experiment, implement many new things. So that gave me a space to implement many things. Sometimes maybe I heard something which I thought maybe it can work. Sometimes I have succeeded. Sometimes I failed. But whenever I failed, I learned something from there and seen how we can make some changes, tweaks, so that that will succeed in future. So there is no same fit size for everything, but we need to see, we need to customize everything as per the organization, and basis that also you need to understand how the employee feels and thinks about it, and the basis that we need to ensure that the trust is built and also the engagement is at the core for building the organization culture. Few things which I implemented over my last 20, 25 years is that so everywhere we had this employee engagement. So we used to drive it through HR and also through the engagement committees. We call it different names. So different companies call maybe they call engagement group and they name it different way. Maybe they will have specific names. I don't want to take any names here. So that is something where we involve them also, and they will like we give them the opportunity to involve, participate, and also maybe show their talents. Like somebody may be good at conducting the event, so we give them that option. And also other important thing is that wherever it is that I felt that we need to know the pulse of the employee. See,
Hmm.
just by doing something, we'll not know whether an
Yeah.
employee is liking it or maybe did we get the ROI for that. So definitely we need to go back and check the pulse. So I've been initiating a lot of pulse, whatever activities I do. So I normally do a survey, check out how the pulse is. So what are the things that they liked and what are the things can be improved. So same happens when an employee joins. Like we have a HR Connect and 30, 60, 90-day surveys, then coffee with HR, then we have town halls and all those things. It's not on paper. See, actually what happens, many companies have all those interventions. They It is like ticking the boxes. So
Yeah,
you go and plan your calendar, get that done, and finally, no one is measuring the impact. So you need
correct.
to go back and measure the impact, ensure that the feedbacks are put into actions, and also see that how it has been improved over the period. And also other important part would be the employee recognition. So recognition at the right time really matters, because if somebody has done something, I think you should have a pat on the back immediately. So fortunate enough, because I've been implementing some new initiatives in my recent company, where people don't have to wait for a month or quarter to recognize. So there are options where immediately they can recognize. They can be given some badges, so that will be visible for everybody. So people who are collecting the badges will be rewarded, like top ranked 4 5 people will be rewarded in a quarter. So those kind of some innovative ideas I was able to bring in. And last part would be the, now right, a lot of post COVID, that is like work is hybrid, remote, and so those options are there. So the employee engagement becomes more important here. How we can
Mm,
engage the remote employees, or maybe hybrid, how we can
correct.
uh, maybe transform or shape the new engagement strategy. So that is something important where you should take care of all these points while bringing in an engagement strategy. End of the day, those things drive strategy, and also those drives employee engagement. So one thing which I want to highlight is that recent Gallup survey shown some decline in the employee engagement. So the major driver for that, which I could relate, is the manager engagement. So which I
Right.
could see that there's been a slight decline there. So
Yes.
manager engagement plays an important role, and that drives employee productivity, engagement, and also the overall success. So engagement is not only the HR responsibility; it is a shared responsibility. HR drives it, but definitely on the ground, managers need to support us, and also the senior management. And last to conclude, Ashwini, I will say that when an employee engagement is embedded in your culture, it is not treated as an HR initiative. It becomes an engine of sustainable growth, innovation, and pride in the workplace. So it should be sustainable, and also it has to be consistent efforts.
Absolutely, Santosh. I really, loved the perspectives and the experience that you, all your journey, what you have implemented. You have thoroughly explained on it. That's amazing. You have touched upon very important aspects and elements on the accountability. You touched upon on the alignment. I think we see that sometimes there'll be a misalignment in the roles. There'll be sometimes, you also touched upon on the recognitions that has to be
Correct.
immediately on the correct, right time, not to be delayed for a month or maybe a quarter. So as and when, if somebody's amazingly worked, contributed something, exceeded on the expectation, we need to recognize immediately. That's wonderful thought, Santosh. I have one question on this, that when did you get your the best recognition in your career, maybe in your journey?
As you all know, maybe HRs may not get recognized always. So now we have forums where HR gets recognized.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that I got one award as best 20 HR leaders by I think given by Transformation. And one thing I want to highlight is the best thing which I feel is that I think long time back, I think early stage of my career when I was working with the service company, and it was so that time we were doing some mass recruitment, and that day we called in employees to do their orientation. I was just addressing the people there, and employees felt very happy, aligned with the organization goal and their roles and responsibility. End of the session, what I felt is that everybody wanted to shake hands with me, and everybody
Yeah.
was fighting
Yes.
each other
Yes.
to come and shake hands. So that day I felt little overwhelmed, and also it touched my heart, and I felt very emotional that people were so caring, and also they wanted to just shake my hands to ensure that they are in the safe hands. So that is something which I felt that being an HR person, it's our responsibility. because whatever you say, money and everything can be given. But end of the day, what I feel, being in HR, so we are fortunate to give employment to people and also roll out offers and show direction and guide people. So that is something which is unique, which I felt.
Absolutely, Santosh. I agree with you because how we make them feel valued, the respected, that support, that small, that human touch that makes them feel so good about it. Uh,
Yeah,
so I have
that's very
another
emotional.
further, yeah. So I think overall that engagement actually it fuels that culture, it fuels that empowerment. It's just all that we need to little more prioritize on the the engagement strategies, because that actually that drives the satisfaction. So with that I have another important point of the next point to discuss. What's a frequent blind spot the organization encounter when trying and to enhance the engagement strategies?
That's a good question, Ashwini, again, because what organization does is that normally what any HR person will do, or maybe the management will do, they will go and research what is happening in market, what the competitors are doing. So they try to copycat many things
Yeah.
which may not fit into your culture. So
Mm.
that is something blind spot which I can say that. So they should understand what is required for your culture. So you should know the pulse of the floor, what is that employee wants, and basis that you need to fine tune. You need to curate or tailor made your strategy so that employees are aligned and it is aligned with your vision, goals, and the values. So that is more important. So what I see is that everywhere, no, like HR end up doing a calendar of activities. This quarter I do this birthday
Mm.
celebration, quarterly town hall, something like the cricket tournament. So there are many activities which we plan. End
Mm.
of the day, maybe the employees will participate, but they may not feel that engaged fully, or maybe there'll be disconnect. So what we need to understand is that understand what they need, and basis that I think you need to tailor make and also curate the strategies basis that. So one important point is that manager-employee relation is very important. So ensure that engagement drives that. So we
Mm.
give opportunity for them to connect. Not only the check-ins, ensure that the check-ins are not only for their productivity and also checking their daily routines.
Mm.
Instead, they should also ensure that employee development and engagement is also part of their check-ins. And also, we should have a clear growth clarity so that how engagement is contributing towards organization and also in turn for the employee. And the other thing is that how we are empowering, whether employees are empowered and do we trust them. So that is also one more factor. So all those things drives the engagement. And as I mentioned, we touched upon employee recognition as an important thing that need to be personal and timely.
Right.
And also other important aspect is that safety and also employees should feel free to open up, and they
Yeah.
should feel that I'll not be targeted if I ask some question, or maybe if I put forth some idea, maybe it may not work.
Right.
So
Yes.
they should not be ridiculed because they have
Correct.
brought up those ideas. So,
Yeah.
so the employer should be open enough. So they should give the forums where employees should feel safe, and
Yeah.
they should be able to voice their opinions. And employer side, we should have this. I touched upon surveys, so we should give an ear to them so that they can voice their concerns. Then end of it, we need to train the managers to manage the team, so they need to be empathetic and they need to coach and manage the performance. So this should not be restricted only for a special days like you celebrate Diwali, Dasara, like that.
Mm.
So we should not plan engagement only for those specific days. So this should be brought in every day. It has to be embedded on it, your daily work. And also they should align with the business goals and also what employee wants. So employee aspirations
Yes.
need to be there. And real engagement is not about perks, it's about the connection what you build in on a
Yes.
daily basis, clarity, and also the care what you bring in. So these all three, four factors are important. These C's are very important: connection, clarity, and care. So that is where I think the blind spots can be reduced by using this. I think three, four strategies what I have mentioned.
Wonderful, awesome. I think I really had that insightful conversations on this point, and I really agree with that. I think there are a couple of points that I would like to add on to this discussion
Yeah.
point that when we do any sort of survey rollout, There are
Correct.
2 points that I see some organizations miss out. One is rigorous follow up, the consistency of follow up to get that survey to fill it up from the employees. Second point
Mm.
is loophole, closing of the loops. It's very important. Employees be waiting for the updates. They be waiting to know what is happened, the actions that taken from the management. So that update, probably they miss out. I think that's another point that they need to look at from the blind spot. I think that's also a factor that can probably reduce the blind spots. Yes.
That is very true, Ashwini. So I think I've highlighted that in the first answer. So
Yes.
we need to ensure that all those actions, what we are getting, the feedback, we need to collate into action points.
Yeah.
So whichever we can do it immediately, something which has a financial impact, maybe we may not be
Mm.
able to implement immediately, but we need to
Correct.
face it out, ensure that what we implemented and that need to be communicated back to the employee. Because maybe in your
Yes.
town halls or maybe your regular communication, communicate back that basis the feedback or reset or whatever survey.
Mm.
So we have implemented this. So they will feel that their voice has been heard and implemented.
Absolutely. Yes. I have another interesting topic to discuss. So about the Gen Z. I think it's becoming so buzzword in corporates about the Gen Z discussion. Gen Z, they want purpose, they want that inclusion and autonomy, and not just the perks or benefits. This is what we're hearing a lot about it. And also I hear that some of millennials and the managers level, they are finding it challenge to empower them, or maybe in order to keep them engaged. So how challenge it is to keep them engaged, Santosh? Why is it, and what empowers them to in today's workplace and environment?
Yeah, I completely understand that. And I think that's a challenge here because we should not call it as a challenge. We should take it as an opportunity. So every
Mm-hmm.
generation comes with different aspirations and they will have a different dreams and goals,
Yeah.
what they have. So this generation, Generation C especially, so as you said that they crave for purpose. So they are not
Yeah.
looking at the monetary only. So
Mm.
they want why in their work, why their work matters, why that is contributing, how their work
Yeah.
is contributing towards a mission, whether it is aligned with their values, whatever they are doing, whether it is aligned with their internal values. If it is not
Yes.
aligned, the properly what happened, then the disengagement will happen. Then they may not stick on for long, and then that will result in attrition. So we need to ensure that they have a purpose for it.
Mm.
So they look at the purpose and also their internal values. So organization value need to be aligned with their internal values. And other thing is that they don't like micromanagement and
Mm.
also too much of rigid hierarchy reportings. So that may not work. So they prefer being let a little bit free.
Uh,
They take the
okay.
ownership. They experiment with different approach. So we need to give them that space where they can experiment and grow, than
Mm.
restrict them and tell them this need to be done. Too much of micromanagement will kill their energy and purpose. And also we talk a lot of about diversity, inclusion, and also the psychology safety. So what happened, they look at lot of inclusion. So they want to be included in whatever we do. And also the belonging, also they care for it. They should
Yeah.
feel that they belong to that company.
Yes.
And also they are the people who bring out their authentic self. And also since they are a smart tech, so they have all the advanced technologies tools in place for them.
Mm.
So in case if those things are not there, if they are not updating, if they are not growing technically, so what happened? They will lose their patience. So then again, they will not feel connected with the
Yes.
organization goal. So these are the challenges which can be addressed. I think we need to be clear when the employee is hired, why we
Mm.
have hired and how they are contributing towards a bigger goal, how their baby steps are contributing towards the bigger steps, and how they are making a broader impact. And also and the process and decision. So I said that involve them in the process, let them
Yeah.
also experiment, come
Yes.
out with idea, so that
Agree with
they will
you.
be involved there in the process and also making decision. And other last part is that we should also give them opportunity for learning. because these are the people, this generation wants, they crave for learning also, because every day they feel doing something different, learn new things. So the micro learning, the learning part, we need to give them an option. Then second would be the mentorship. There should be a good mentorship program, which help them to help us to mentor them, and which will help us in developing them. And also it's a continuous improvement. We can't just say that it is only for a month or two. So this need to be continued so that they will remain motivated, valued, and they'll be contributing towards the organization goal. So that's what I think we should do. That so we should create a workplace which is real, responsive, and rewarding. Because if you show them something which is not real,
It
so
applies to
they may not
both,
buy
you
in
know.
for it.
It applies to both
Yes,
also, right? Irrespective of the generation, whether Gen Z or Millennial Y. So I think that same process we need to bring it to the system, irrespective of whether they're baby boomers or
they are
millennials or
correct.
Gen Z, you know?
Yeah, yeah. So here, thing is that they don't have patience. That's all. So they want purpose. So they know how they want to know how the goals are getting impacted and how what they are contributing. And also
Hmm.
they look at recognition, because
Yeah.
I've seen examples where a lot of people come that I've done so many things, have not got recognized. So they
Hmm.
want those immediate recognition. So that's what I was telling in the, I think, previous question, that recognition has to be immediate. It can't be waiting for your maybe your
Yes.
town hall or quarterly activity. Should be immediate, so that the employee feel that he's been recognized and valued. So that
Hmm.
gives that drives along for the employee motivation and retention also.
Can you also touch upon on the communication with the Gen Z? Because I see
Yeah,
that's another factor, that's another challenge in today's corporate. So what do you say about on that in terms of communication with them every day?
yeah, yeah.
Maybe it's
Communication every day is important. So what I do is that normally what happens. So whenever we move around the floor, we used to meet people. So that way we'll ask, how they are doing, how things are, whether any support is required. And apart from that, we have formal forum, like we do the HR Connect, one-on-one meetings we have. So we used to take turns in meeting the HR team.
hmm,
They take turns to meet the employees, understand, and all critical resources. When we see that those employees are very critical, so we ensure that we meet them maybe at least once in a quarter, meet them, understand the concern, understand the pulse. And also, one more important thing is that now we do a lot of stay interviews, like proactive
hmm,
interviews, than
hmm,
getting into a reactive mode where exit interviews are done during after the employee has decided to resign. We do exit interview and do a post mortem. Instead of that, I think we should do a stay interview and just understand the employee pulse, what is working for him,
yeah,
what is not working, and what can be done to make their experiences better. So that way it helps. So we need to have a connect, not only from the HR on the ground, even the reporting managers need to have that connect with the employees daily, and also the personal connect that is also required. See, formally we require work to be done. End of the day, we should be empathetic, understand the employee concern, and also understand that we are not working with machine, we are working with human. So that human factor need to be there in dealing with whatever generation be, it is generation Z, Y, baby boomers, millennials. So that human touch is required.
got it. So I have another interesting flash news reports to discuss. Boreout syndrome is increasingly disrupting the workplaces. So, what's your thought or recommendation on how organizations can prevent it, from further impacting the workplaces, Santosh?
So bore syndrome happens. So primarily basis the lack of purposeful task, and
Hmm.
also there's a mismatch between the role clarity and the skill and responsibility. And also if somebody is doing a monotonous job, repeated job without no clear path, growth path, career path,
Hmm.
and also it can be due to absence of feedback or recognition. So if employees are not getting the feedback on time, or if they are not getting any recognition
Hmm.
due, which is due, they feel that they have done something great, and that is not coming for them. So
Hmm.
they all feel that okay, they are not being valued, so they are disconnected. So this can lead into a bore-out syndrome. That's one of the reason for that, Ashwini. How can we prevent that? So we should ensure that new challenges are given, cross-functional collaboration happens, and also put them in a creative task, and also involve them in whatever the task they are, like be it
Offering new training skills,
new training skills,
uh,
or
new
maybe
projects.
give them
Correct.
project which is cross-functional, which
Yes.
can innovate. Then also involve them in creating their OKRs or goals, what is required
Yeah.
to be done for this year. And also, so the journeys, what you said, the journeys, learning journeys are important, where they are involved in learning journeys,
Mm.
not only as a mentee, but also as a mentor. Like we do have these mentorship programs everywhere, right? So we can
Yeah.
take their support there. They can be a mentee, they can be a mentor, and also we can look at doing some hackathons, and
Mm.
so that employees can experiment, innovate, come out with ideas, so that it is not monotonous. So
Yeah.
bore out happens when they feel that their tasks are repetitive. There's nothing new
Yeah.
to learn, and end of the day that can result there in complete disengagement. So that's a risk for the organization, so they should ensure that all these steps are taken, and also open feedback and career conversation. So feedback is required for anyone for that matter, so managers should give the feedback timely to the employees.
Yes.
And career conversation, like somebody is not good at, they don't want to do maybe a developer job, they want to move on to maybe a management role, people management. So we should understand the pulse, the career aspirations, and that
Absolutely.
way when
Yes.
managers need to do their
Mm.
job, ensure that they are properly guiding and directing. So that also will help. And other thing is that like purpose driven work. So whatever, how they are contributing. I said earlier about the committees, engagement
Mm.
committees. Involve them in those committees. They are creative. They are good at doing something. Make use of them in other areas,
Yeah.
which will ensure that they are contributing, and also they will not feel bored.
Right.
So it is purely because they feel that they are not aligned to the organization goal, and it is kind of underutilized potential. So the organization need to actively challenge, empower, and also we need to appreciate wherever they are good at. So we should make use of them, and also whatever appreciation timely, that also need to be done, so that this will help in untapping their potential, and also they will perform better, and also they'll be loyal if we are able to get there.
Awesome. Amazing. I really liked your thoughtfulness. I really liked your leadership style and the mindset that you're carrying out, Santosh, on this. You really projected so well, and you highlighted on all the important aspects and factors that one has to carry out in organization in order to ensure that increasing of the high retention rates, or maybe in productivity to increase it, everything is relying on the engagement. So how we keep them
Very true.
engaged, and how we need to satisfy them at work. So all that, how it helps increasing of the productivity, that you really clearly so articulation in process that you explain so well. I really like that. Last point is
Thank
on the
you.
discussion of this episode. There are many unicorns, organizations, startups are coming up. So there are many organizations beginning just to shape their culture. So what do you have to say them? What do you have the recommendations to convey them?
I think beginning question also I answered a bit, so I'll continue from there.
Yeah.
See, we need to, any organization, they need to have an intention to start, and
Mm.
also build with action. So what happens if you don't have the intent, right? Intent. So what do you want? What kind of
Mm.
culture you want? And what kind of values you want to be
Yeah.
established? And that need to be followed by everybody, right? From
Right.
employees till leadership. And also your policies need to be aligned. Processes need to be aligned with the culture, what you want to create. And also the consistency. Just by creating will not work. So you need to ensure that consistency is maintained and sustained,
Yes.
because that need to be followed. Because from the HR, ensure that communication goes to the employee. And then from leadership, ensuring that employees are meeting those, and also they are the ambassadors of those values. So ensure that they are embedding those things on a daily life. and also their professional life, they should exhibit those things on a daily basis. So that is important. And important thing which I covered is the values, because at the beginning itself, organization need to define what are their core values. So this need to be articulated not only to the employees whom they are going to hire, so that
Mm.
it's part of the hiring also. We need to communicate these are our core values,
Mm.
and then basis that we can decide our hiring as well. If
Yeah.
somebody is misfit into our culture, I think ideally we should not be hiring them.
Mm.
Similarly, if the candidate feels that okay, maybe this culture is not aligned to my values, then other way
Yes.
also it can happen. The candidate may not join you. So that also
Correct.
can happen. So it is very important to define the core value early, and also that need to be practiced.
Yeah.
So see, sometimes what happens, so early days of organization formation, so everybody is interested in creating value and they will create value,
Yeah.
marketing communication, they'll put it on the wall. So it is not
Yes.
to be confined on the wall. So that is where I think organization go wrong. So that need to be practiced daily. That is one thing
Correct.
important. And second point is that leadership plays an important role, because whatever your organization success, so leadership plays a great role, and they should walk the talk. See, whatever mentioned on the policies or maybe on the walls, that
Yeah.
doesn't matter until unless you are clearly exhibiting that on the
Yes.
floor. Employees should feel that okay, the leadership is empathetic. They are also the ambassadors of the value. So that should be shown to them. So leaders also should drive engagement through open door policies, skip level meetings, and they should be accessible to the people. So they should answer, they should be responsive enough and respond timely, and also be empathetic, and so that there's a transparency and inclusion. So that also matters a lot. And as I mentioned in the beginning, so we should give the forums for employees to voice their concerns. So we should give that year, maybe it focus groups formation, pulse surveys, feedback sessions, and also we need to implement the stay interview part, which I was telling you, so that employees feel that okay, we are creating them, we are treating them as an asset, and ensuring that we are going to them, we are caring for them. So that need to be exhibited. And other thing is that I said recognition timely. So we need to come out with recognition programs which is customized for your requirement than copying it from somewhere. And that need to be implemented and also need to be consistent and followed. And engagement should be a part of your strategy, whatever your strategy is, what you're building in. So ensure that engagement gives a due role, and it need to be
Yes.
given importance there. So engagement is something which drives a culture. Without that, it will be very difficult for us to build the culture, and it has to be built through intention. And also the trust is the important thing which has to be there, and it has to be repetitive also. So what happens once you start, then you stop it. Like you see something has not happened overnight, things have not changed. So you should not lose patience and leave it. Nothing is working. So you should be patient enough, and you should perceive that in future, ensure that whatever you have planned are implemented on the ground. Whatever changes need to be done, need to be tweaked to ensure that it is aligned. And also employee gets set on the floor that this is what I need to be following, and this is the culture, we need to build as a team together. It
Yeah.
can't be it can't work in silos, only leadership
Correct.
trying, only employee trying, or only HR trying.
Yes.
So all
Yes.
these people need to come together and build a proper culture, which will be aligned. So which need to be evolving, and also people need to be involved first
Mm.
place to evolve your culture and build a sustainable culture. So one point which I want to highlight is that, see, every organization feel that maybe it is a kind of a marketing strategy, like they want
Mm.
immediate results. So that will not happen. So we need to invest some time there, patient enough. So overnight things can't change. It will take some time to transform. So things can't be changed overnight. So we need to give some time to get that settled, make people aware about what is required. Communication is important. So leadership support is required. So these are the few things which is required than going for overkill. See, sometimes what happens, people will go for overkill of activities, too much of engagement, too much of celebrations. End of the day, people feel like it is not, because I don't have any more appetite left because I
Yeah.
eat too much.
Yeah.
So that is where
True.
the thing is. So organization should balance it well, ensure that what is required need to be provided, ensure that
Mm.
they are taking the employee along. So I just want to quote one thing here, like Steve Jobs said, to be
Mm.
successful in business. So it can't be done by one person. It has to be done by a team of people. So similarly here, the culture building, it can't be done by alone. It is a
Yes.
partnership between HR, leadership, then the managers and the employees finally. And this will give us a competitive advantage, and this will give us a strong foundation for a long-term
Mm.
success. So any organization to succeed, their platform need to be sound and strong. So I think doing these activities will definitely help us in building the strong foundation, so that will give you that thrust to survive and also building the trust what is required. In turn, you will get a lot of results. Your retention will be lower. So you will get the ROEs in term satisfied employees, higher ESAT scores. You will become a great place to work and all those things. So it is all related, connected. So you
True.
can't work in isolation. So you should take everything together as a strategy.
Amazing. That's so insightful, Santosh. I definitely they get this message from your end. So I think the conversations what we had today, it was
Hmm.
amazing, very enriching conversations we had. So insightful. That's
Thank you.
one rapid question I have for you. What is the best advice you have received in your life, Santosh?
I might have received many, but one thing which stuck my mind, which is currently still also it's followed. One thing is that I think it's somewhere in early 2000s when I was in my, I think, second or third company. I was looking out for a job after, I think, spending about 2 years. I felt, okay,
Mm,
maybe I need to move out, maybe look at some better organization that time.
mm,
So that time I went for an interview. I was meeting the HR head then. So he seen my profile and said, I see that you jump job maybe every 2 or 3 years. Why is that you are doing that? And I said, like I feel that I'm hunger for this. I feel I want to do this. I'm not able to do that. So
mm,
that is the reason I'm looking out. I want an organization where I can put my thoughts and I can contribute and feel,
mm,
like grow in my career. So that was
mm.
the intent. Then he said, okay, yes, everything understood. But what I advise you is that somewhere I think you need to bite the bullet.
Yeah.
So he meant bite the bullet was he said, okay, somewhere we need to give a longer stint with the organization, wherein what will happen, then only you'll be able to build, get that rapport and get that trust, and then you'll be able to grow because everything happens through the trust. It can't be built in overnight because
True.
to getting a person trusting you, it is a difficult thing, right?
Mm.
So it takes time. So from there, I felt okay. That organization is. I'm not planning to leave. Probably I will maybe stay for 5 years. That is a gratuity milestone, and then then
Mm.
that continued. I think that was one thing which I felt okay. You should not leave organization just
Yeah.
for the
True.
money. I think you should be patient enough. Spend more time, understand, learn what you can contribute. If you feel whatever you could give, you had given, nothing more there, nothing you can learn. It has to be win-win.
Absolutely.
So you
Yes.
should also give something back and you should also get something back from organization. If that transaction happens, I think you can continue. If not, then I think you should decide. So that
Oh,
was the
wow.
best advice which I got.
I
Still, I
that's
think I follow
really, yeah, yeah, it's really
that.
the best advice. I also take it from you now. I'll learn that from you. So thank you
Okay,
so
good.
much, Santosh, for sharing such a treasure of, a trove of that incredible insights on all of these, discussion that we touched upon. I think engagement and experience, how it drives success that you so beautifully explained it. I think thank you so much for taking your time for this pod talk. And thank you for all that insightful conversations.
Thank you, Ashwini, for having me here. So before I conclude, I would like to say it's been a great conversation. You have been a very good host. And second thing is that I truly believe that HR has a
Yeah.
unique power to shape not just organization outcomes. So you should also transform people's lives. So that's what I was giving in one of my example there. So you should also treat people like human. That is why we
True.
are in human resource department. So that is very important. And also one thing which we need to look at is HR should be looked at more than a function. So it's a
Yeah.
force of transformation.
Yes.
So every HR person should look at taking this opportunity as a HR
Correct.
to transform organization and also the people's lives. So that
Correct.
matters. So end of the day, if you are not contributing towards a life, see somewhere I read that like whatever time, because you have got limited time in the universe, Earth being born, and we have limited time. So every day we are spending so much of time. So we are giving life to the organization, right? So similarly, if HR can better or enhance the
Mhm.
employees' lives, people's life, so then you are a true HR.
That's amazing. Thank you so much. Your every journey, that remarkable journey, that experience that you have explained, really, influenced me so positively, Santosh. I think there are a lot of points that I have gathered. I take it that in my journey too. So thank you so much for all of that. So let me leave
You're
you
welcome.
with
Mm,
this.
all the best.
Um,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm,
So let me leave you with this. Employees don't leave companies, they leave experiences, they leave bad bosses, okay, the bad managers. So the organizations, there are many organizations thriving. How? As my guest mentioned and talked about a lot of key elements today. So if they prioritize on people performance, people centricity, collaboration, transparency, that continuous consistency of the engagement connect with the teams, I think the integrity, the loyalty, that your communication with the teams, that all that matters a lot, and that increase the engagement score, that increase the engagement level. You can transform your passive employees to promoters, and promoters can be increased to 10x or 20x more. It can happen only by your leadership's factors and style that you carry out, and the kind of culture that we cultivate in an organization. Okay, so when employees are engaged, now they it leads to the best experiences, and that's how the productivity also can be increased, and retention rates also can be increased. So with that, I would say that please watch my full episode of this engagement and experience drive success. Leave your thoughts on my YouTube channel comment box, and don't forget to subscribe it, okay? And stay tuned for my next episode of 4. Thank you so much.